Hey, we're so glad you're here. Thanks for joining us.
Good morning.
So I'm Holly and this is Rachel, and we're going to do a live cooking demo here in a couple minutes. And meanwhile, we're going to just chat a little bit while we wait for some friends to join us. We want to welcome the Instant Pot 101 for Beginners group and Amy. Thank you so much for hosting our live demo today, and also welcome to the IP 101 family. We're so glad that y'all are here. Let's see, what's been going on the farm this week?
We just got a bunch of plants yesterday for our winter garden, lots of herbs and lettuce and stuff. We got some catnip, so I'm really excited about that because I've never gotten to play with a cat and
the
catnip,
kitties.
so.
The kitties have been a surprisingly fun element on our little farm here. They were the first new pets we got, and we got 4 kitties, and they have just been so fun to watch. They're fully grown now, but we got them a treat. We got them a little catnip, and so we're excited about that. One of the funnest things I like in the mornings when we go out to milk, 3 of the 4 kitties, the 3 females, follow us up there, and they make sure that they're there to get the milk from the strip cup.
They're just like fighting over it.
They love it. They're super sweet. So a strip cup, when you're milking a cow, you always want to milk out the first little milking into a separate container, because dirt and gunk can get up inside the opening of her teats just a little bit, and you want to strip that out, not in your milk bucket. So after we wash her teats off, we strip the milk into just a little stainless steel kiddie bowl basically, and we give them a little treat, and they love it. It's pretty sweet. So anyway, are you ready to get started?
Yeah,
okay.
Let's do it.
So welcome to our kitchen. I'm Holly, and this is Rachel. We're the cooking family, and we are just going to show you one of our favorite meals. Usually we make this for family parties and holidays. We're making
Ribs, barbecue
we're
ribs.
making barbecue ribs, and they're made so easy in the Instant Pot. It is so much quicker. Like, they're really great smoked, of course, but that takes all day. And the potatoes, and in the Instant Pot, it only takes about an hour to have, from start to finish, to have wonderful dry rubbed ribs in the Instant Pot. So this is going to be great for your Labor Day fest. And then we're also going to show you our favorite potato salad. Also, huge difference cooking potatoes in the Instant Pot. And that makes this recipe super easy.
Yeah, I remember you making the potato salad so many years ago before we had the Instant Pot, and she would have to put them in a pot on the stove, and she had to watch them until they were fork tender, which would be like 30 or 40 minutes. And they could boil over, so she kind of had to stay in the kitchen that whole time. It was all that kind of thing. It just
right.
cuts
And you have to have a big stock pot full of water, so all that has to come to a boil, boil for a long time.
You have to keep it boiling.
That's right. And then you have this giant hot vat of boiling water. So cook your potatoes in the Instant Pot. It's an incredibly revolutionizing thing in your kitchen. That is just cooking potatoes in the Instant Pot is great. Yeah. We'll show you exactly how to do it. So first, we're going to get started on our dry rub recipe for our ribs, and that's going to just get a lot of flavor into our ribs. And we like to mix up our own dry rub. Of course, you can buy one at the store, but we like, in our pantry, we enjoy having a lot of different spices and herbs that we can mix in whatever way we want to, and use it in our own kitchen how we want, without any
MSG, modified food
fillers,
starch.
What is it called? Desiccants to keep it free flowing. Those are just additives that we don't want.
Yeah.
So we're going to show you how to make this dry rub, and it's super easy. And this is a great recipe to have your little ones help you on, because there's no chopping, no heat, and the little ones could help go get all the spices. You can introduce them to how wonderful the spices smell.
You can let them stir.
It's just fantastic.
Always
That's
my
right.
favorite.
Always your favorite.
Stirring.
So we're going to start with 1 tablespoon of salt. We use pink Himalayan salt, and it's a little bit coarser than table salt. So if you're using regular table salt, you just want to use a little bit less, like maybe make it a scant tablespoon. And so we're using 1 tablespoon of salt, 1 tablespoon of paprika. We've been keeping our paprika and anything that has pepper, like red peppers, in the fridge. Another thing I like to do to keep track of myself so I don't get mixed up and wonder if I used everything is to move it out of the way once I've used it completely. So then also 2 tablespoons of garlic powder. Garlic powder and onion powder tends to solidify when you get moisture in it. So this is a recipe that's not going to matter, but if you've got it over a boiling pot of soup, you kind of want to keep your container of garlic powder away. Otherwise, it might get solid.
And it's just, we had to blend some up in the Vitamix yesterday.
Yeah, that was onion powder.
To get it, I mean, it's still.
Yeah, it just wants to stick together. And having this container over a pot of soup makes it worse. So, yeah. Okay, so here goes the onion powder. We literally had one of these big, big box store containers. It had a huge chunk, and we could not get it out. We had to cut open.
I wondered why we
This is me being miserly. I'm not going to throw away a cup of onion powder. So Abraham got out his little hand saw, cut open the plastic, dumped this giant brick of onion powder in the Vitamix, and blended it up for me, so we could have usable onion powder again. Okay, and then we want 2 teaspoons of chili powder. I'm checking my recipe over here because it's a lot to remember. This is just regular chili powder. Just going to add a little warmth and not really much spicy heat.
Just a depth of
to our recipe. If your family enjoys spice, you could add cayenne pepper to this, or use a hotter chili powder. Ours is just plain old, pretty mild chili powder. This is a teaspoon of dry mustard. And I really like dry mustard. It adds a little bit of pungent heat to recipes. And if you, dry mustard is really great in like a cheesy, eggy dish for making it taste more cheesy, just kind of boosting that cheesy flavor.
And I think it's so funny, like it's mustard. You wouldn't really think it makes stuff taste like cheese.
Right.
It does.
It just adds a sharpness.
And
okay, 1 teaspoon of ground black pepper is going in. And then,
how much?
I don't have my cumin actually. Oh,
it's right here.
Haha.
Well,
there it is.
Where are my glasses?
Where are my glasses?
Where's my baby?
Where's my baby? So Miriam, I remember Miriam being, she's my 5th.
Can I stir?
Yes, you can start stirring. 1.5 teaspoons of ground cumin.
Oh, it's so pretty.
Miriam being on my hip, and I was kind of frantically looking for her. But she was such a fixture on my hip, I didn't even remember she was there.
It was so
the kids
funny.
are like,
are
you looking for
running
Miriam?
around in the street yelling for her, like all of us were, because we were somewhere else, and Mommy just yelled, "Look for Miriam!" We were looking everywhere, and we were like, "You're holding her.
You're holding her. She's on your hip. She's safe."
And she's quiet. So
She was just hanging out. So this is 1.5 teaspoons of brown sugar. So we're just adding a little bit of sweetness to this. Rub.
There are still a few chunks of
Yeah, we
onion
do
powder.
still have just a couple chunks of onion powder, but that's not going to be a big deal because it's going to cook in the Instant Pot. Okay, so next we're going to move this rub now that we've got it ready. And this, yeah, that's right. That's exactly right.
Yeah.
We're going to use these things for our cooking liquid, and we'll show you those in just a second. And I'm going to switch out this cutting board. This is a cutting board for our raw meat. Actually, I'm going to move that towel too. There we go. Okay. And we're gonna just set this aside and get it back out in a second. When you're dealing with raw meat, it's important to teach your children how to keep the food contamination contained. And really, I mostly handle the raw meat in our house, except for pretty much if we're putting stuff directly in the Instant Pot. And but it is definitely a point of training that you need to show your children how to do and help them learn how to handle it so that you don't have like raw meat juice on your spice containers.
Or sometimes like someone will do raw meat and then leave the cutting board out, and then someone else will like start to chop an onion on it, and it's like, you do not, that's really bad, especially if it's been sitting out even for a few minutes. You should just pick it up, take it, wash your knives off, wash your cutting board, wipe off your thing. Just, you do not want the possibility of cross-contamination.
Right, getting raw pork juice on anything.
And yes,
that you're
having
gonna
a
not
separate cutting board that you can put in your dishwasher so that it can be completely sanitized is also great.
Yes.
Because it can kind of soak into wooden cutting boards, and you cannot put those in the dishwasher.
Right. Okay, so this is a rack of baby back ribs. Another habit I like to do with, as far as raw meat goes, is only letting one of my hands get the raw meat on it. So I keep one hand clean, and one hand, my left hand usually is the one that I'm handling any raw meat with.
So basically keep your knife hand clean.
Keep your knife hand clean, that's right, or your dominant hand. Okay, so this is one rack of baby back ribs. This came actually in a 3-pack from Costco. And if your baby back ribs have a membrane on it, and actually my cutting board's a little too small, there will be sometimes a membrane on this back, and you need to pull it off. But ours from Costco already comes pulled off. So, but it's pretty simple to pull off. You just take a butter knife and stick it underneath the membrane, and it'll pull off pretty easily. So this, I thought the membrane was on here yesterday when I was working on this, and I was trying to take this off, and it would not come. So the membrane that's supposed to come off will come off if you stick a butter knife under here. So, I'm going to take our dry rub. I'm going to use the spoon, and remember, this hand is staying clean and dry.
And try not to let your spoon touch the thing also. Just the fewer things touch the meat, the better.
That's right. That is a good word, Rachel. Okay, so we're just going to sprinkle about half of this here, and then I am going to sort of smash it in. Since I'm trying to keep this hand clean.
Yes, what do you need help?
Well, I think I'm going to just have to get my hands both dirty, and then you can spoon it on.
That's fine. I can do that.
We'll just be partners.
Tell me when you're ready for me.
Okay. Okay, so we're just sort of pressing this in. Pressing our rub into the moist meat. Before I did this video, we already rinsed off our pork baby back rib. And by the way, you can also do the same recipe with beef ribs if you prefer. And then, thank you, ma'am.
You're welcome.
So we rinsed it off in the sink, and then of course sanitize the sink. And
pat it dry with a paper towel.
Pat it dry with a paper towel. Thank you for completing my thought. There we go. Awesome.
We're doing all of it, right?
Yeah, we're doing the whole thing. Just going to cover it with our dry rub. And this amount of dry rub does one good big, this is about a 3-pound rack of baby back ribs. Okay. And next, Rachel's going to help me by going ahead and putting the trivet in the Instant Pot, because I'm not going to reach down and touch it, and I don't want to wash my hands till we're done. Using baby back ribs as far as spare ribs, we have done this with spare ribs also, and it just seemed like they weren't as tender and moist when we got them out, but you can definitely use it. Spare ribs do cook in the Instant Pot, but the baby backs are just a little bit more tender. Okay, so I'm going to put this on the trivet in the Instant Pot, and I'm going to kind of form it in the shape of a donut.
Okay.
Yep. And I'm just going to set it right on that trivet. So hopefully you can find your Instant Pot trivet and throw it right in there. And Rachel's going to tell you about the liquid that we
Yes.
use to cook this.
So we are going to put in half a cup of water as part of our liquid. Just do it in the middle so you don't dissolve any of the rub on top. And then we're going to do another half a cup of apple cider vinegar. It adds a lot of yummy flavor to it. That's about half a cup. I'll do a little more. There. And then a tablespoon of liquid smoke. So let me grab this. Okay, so liquid smoke is a really great ingredient that I really love, because if you don't have time to smoke your food, or if you don't have a smoker, it adds a lot of smokiness, like barbecue flavor to it. So I'm gonna do a little more. I love liquid smoke. And I think I'll set the Instant Pot. These baby back ribs take 23 minutes at high pressure.
That's right.
So meat or stew is what I'm going to do. It's already set on 23, and then because this is not one of the ones that you have to press the start button for, I'm just going to wait. So we have our liquid, and we put our lid on, and I'm checking the valve now to make sure that it's on sealing instead of venting. And then program pressure time, and then pause.
That's right.
Or start. That's if your model has a start button, which this one doesn't.
That's right. So Rachel was talking about the liquid smoke that one of our cooking heroes is Alton Brown, and he showed an episode of how to make liquid smoke. It was homemade, and I still want to do it. These kids are going to do it sometime.
I want to do it.
But it took him hours and hours, and he got like 1 teaspoon.
He said it took him 5 hours to get 2 tablespoons.
5 hours, 2 tablespoons of liquid smoke.
But what you have to do is you have to make smoke, and then you have to condense it. So it's literally smoke that you made, so you have the smoke, and then you have a bundt pan, and then you have a tray of ice on top. So then the smoke goes up through the hole in the bundt pan, and then it condenses on the foil because it's cold up there, and then it drips down. So pretty cool setup, and I want to try it, but
I hope you will. And I hope you'll invite me when we eat whatever you use. But yes, you can find liquid smoke at most every grocery store, just in the aisle that the barbecue sauce and ketchup is in, and it's a great flavor additive. We use it for when we make sloppy joes, homemade sloppy joes,
I put
barbecue sauce.
Anything you want to have a smoky flavor.
Rachel all my kids really love the honey roasted barbecue sauce from Chick-fil-A.
Yes.
So they like to make their own homemade version and put liquid smoke in that.
So good. It was just as good as at the restaurant. I was so happy because we don't get to go to Chick-fil-A very often. So
it's definitely a special treat when we go to Chick-fil-A. Okay, so I'm going to move this pot out of the way so we can show you how to put potatoes in. It's not under pressure yet. Do not move an Instant Pot that's under pressure or any pressure cooker. And we're going to show you how to put in the potatoes. This is another recipe that you do use the trivet on for your Instant Pot. I don't always use the trivet, but when I do,
there's
really
a good reason.
Okay, so we like to use for this recipe, this potato salad is kind of southern, but it doesn't have mustard, so it's white, and we like to use red potatoes. So these have already been rinsed off and the little eyes cut out. And we're just going to place them on the trivet. And then we're going to pour our water in. You could definitely put your water in before. Doesn't really matter. And in the case of potatoes, there's nothing to wash down on them. So this is 5 pounds of potatoes. And so you'll notice we're pretty full in our little Instant Pot. Rachel's putting the water in. But because there's air throughout the pot, it is okay for it to be this full. There's still plenty of air in here to allow the pot to build up pressure. So it's not going to be a problem. And so we're going to go ahead and start these potatoes. Here, I'm going to hand you that.
So how do you tell how long to cook them?
That is a great question. And actually, I was looking at this bag of potatoes. Usually your potatoes are kind of a uniform size when you buy them in a bag. These are kind of different sizes. So potatoes are usually 10 to 15 minutes. And you choose it based on the size. So this would be a 10-minute potato, and this would be probably, if your giant russet baked potato is 15, I'd say 13 for this, because we have a couple of really big ones, and they're not really going to get overdone, these little ones. So we're going to go ahead and set it for 13 minutes. That's just a matter of judgment. It's not really that big of a deal. But you do want your big ones to be cooked all the way through, because you certainly don't want to have to redo it. So
that's the most annoying thing.
That's the most annoying thing.
Open up your pot of potatoes or chicken and it's like not done.
Oh, it's not done in the middle. But this little one is done. So we're going to go ahead and choose 13 minutes. It's just a little scale. 10 to 15 minutes, 10 being your small potatoes, 15 being your giant russets. Another thing that does make a big difference is if you have a long time to allow it to naturally release. Yes. So, okay, so we're gonna press start. We're gonna, to wake it up, and we're gonna select pressure cook. Then when my clock time is beeping, is blinking, then we're gonna adjust the time by turning this knob. This is an ultra. If you have a different machine, you're going to, press the plus or minus button to adjust the time. We do want high pressure, and also we're going to make sure our steam release valve is on sealing, because we do want it to come up to pressure, and it's going to go ahead and do its cooking. If you would do us a favor, we would really appreciate it if you would like this video and share this video. We love for you to interact with comments. I have my wonderful family crew here monitoring the comments and answering questions for you. And so if you would like and share us, that helps get this video out to more people that might benefit from watching it due to, Facebook algorithms and such in the whatever.
Yeah, all of those.
Mystical world of all that.
Just do us a favor.
Do us a favor and like and share. We really appreciate that. And we're at facebook.com/thecookingfam. And you can also go to our website to find these recipes. This one is the
Instant Pot. Wait, that's the potatoes. Instant Pot barbecue ribs. Did we publish that one?
Yeah, it's published. Yes.
Instant Pot barbecue.
So go to our website, thecookingfamily.com, and find these recipes and share those with your friends. And we have lots of live videos to show you exactly how to make it. So I just wanted to, while we get our potato salad ingredients moved over here, share a little bit about this recipe. So this is my dad's famous, we always say that kind of jokingly, famous potato salad recipe. And he titled it Tom's Super Potato Salad. We love this potato salad. It always disappears at every family picnic. And you almost feel like, oh, I could just eat this all day long.
So I didn't really have a lot of any kind of potato salad other than this potato salad for a really long time. And then I had some of the yellow stuff that you get at the store, and it was the most disgusting thing. I did not like it. So if you think you don't like potato salad, you should try this. This is really, 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 really good.
Yes.
It's the best.
So my dad is Tom, and you'll see a picture of him if you go to the recipe for this particular one. But he worked really hard to perfect this recipe and get it just right. And one of my prized possessions, favorite things that I have is in my recipe card box, the handwritten version of this, where he wrote down the recipe. My dad always will, he writes notes to himself, which is actually a very good habit. But you'd always on a Saturday morning come and find on the kitchen table notes in my dad's handwriting. And one of those was Tom's Super Potato Salad recipe. I think it was even on the back of an envelope.
Probably.
with his handwriting. So, hi, Mom and Dad. Hopefully you're watching, and we're going to show friends how to make this. So, one of the really key parts of this recipe is to cut up the potatoes in nice small pieces. That way, you get the wonderful dressing all over every little piece, enrobed, and bacon goes surrounding each little piece. So you want small pieces of potato, about half-inch square cubes, half-inch cubes. And
I always think I'm cutting them the right size, and then at the end, they get huge. So I have to recut the last
It takes a lot of patience to cut up 5 pounds of potatoes in a really small manner. So I'm going to show you how to cut those up. That's what I was looking for, is my knife. And I'm going to cut those up over here so that Rachel can show how to make the dressing.
I'm making it in this, right?
Yes, the dressing is in that one.
Okay.
So this is our pot of potatoes that we already cooked just the same way that we just showed you how. There's just a little bit of water left in there. This is a lot easier if you will do your potatoes ahead of time and they're not blazing hot. If you try to cut up potatoes really hot, it's going to be painful.
And they're kind of they kind of fall apart. They stick together better.
They stay together into cubes better, although it's okay if they fall apart. If they're a little bit cooled off, and I can handle these. They're still a little bit warm.
Do you want these out of your bag?
They'll keep cooling off. That would be awesome, if you don't mind.
No,
I'll even kind of keep sticking them over here. There we go.
Okay, so the dressing for the potato salad. So this dressing has sour cream and mayonnaise as the main ingredients. And then we have a bunch of spices. So first, I will do the sour cream and mayonnaise. So we're using 1.5 cups each of sour cream and mayonnaise. We're using Greek yogurt instead because that's what we have. And this is what Mommy called the yellow squishy measuring thing today before the video. So we're going to use the yellow squishy measuring thing.
Because you squish
you press it down like that.
Here's going to be my disclaimer, and it makes sure that we see the potatoes being cut here in a second. But here's my disclaimer. I do not enjoy this.
Okay.
I am an eyeball cooker because this is a pain to wash. But if you really need it, if you're a person who really needs to measure, use it. And it's great for mayonnaise and sour cream, peanut butter.
It's great for peanut butter.
Solid shortening, like if you're using solid coconut oil or lard or whatever. This is great. And
I do
it's
prefer
fun
the
for
eyeball.
kids.
I do prefer
But
the eyeball.
do you want an eyeball today?
Yes.
It's fine with me.
It's
but I just wanted to show you this
1.5
tool
cups.
if you need to measure big chunky things that don't want to come out of measuring cups. But we're going to show you how we just eyeball it. Make it look like about a cup and a half, right?
That looks good.
That looks great. That's about a cup and a half.
This is not a recipe that you really need to worry about unless like at the end you're like, I think that needs a little more mayonnaise. Just
That's right.
put some more mayonnaise in.
Yes, so it's a good idea to measure. The reason we can eyeball it is because we've measured with this before, right? So go ahead and measure and then learn to eyeball by comparison, comparing what the amount looks like. Like measure it out what a cup and a half looks like.
And then look
or
at
a cup, and then look at it and see how much that looks like in the bowl. You'll be amazed at how close you get eyeballing stuff. And it's very freeing to cook from
Just
eyeball. Or can be.
So the other day I made this squashed curry soup, and
it was fabulous.
I wrote the recipe down the next day. But the thing is, when I cooked it, I used a recipe online and I followed it loosely. That's kind of just how I cook. But I didn't measure anything. So I was like, it tasted so good, but I don't know how much of everything I put in. So it can be hard when you're trying to write a recipe, but just figure it out.
It's also really hard when you try to make cheese that way.
Yes,
it doesn't work.
Doesn't work. Okay, so we're going to put in garlic powder, black pepper, and salt. So we have this magic flavor dust. So I think we're not using this.
You're welcome to use whichever you want.
Okay.
We have made it with our magic flavor dust.
If you don't have magic flavor dust, we're doing 1.5 teaspoons of garlic powder, 1/4 teaspoon of black pepper, and 1 to 1.5 teaspoons of salt. I'm just going to put in about a tablespoon.
Okay, do a tablespoon of magic flavor dust. We need to put that conversion, like really figure out that conversion.
That looks good. Okay, that's about good. And dill seed and dill weed, that adds kind of a pickly flavor. So for the dill seed, 1/2 teaspoon each of dill seed and dill weed. So if you don't have one or the other, can you just do double of one and it's okay? But it's not the best.
Try to do dill seed and dill weed because they both add a different dill flavor to the recipe. But we have run out of one or the other and used just one. It happens sometimes.
And I think these dill seeds might be what our friends gave us from their plants. Maybe they are. I harvested some dill seed from their plants. I don't know if this is it.
Yeah.
But
well, the dill seed from those plants, which could be this, but we're not sure.
Yeah.
Incredibly aromatic. We're getting the blessing of experimenting with growing our own herbs. Well, these were actually from a friend, but those dill seeds smelled incredible.
Here's the chopper. Okay, and then one more thing. Wait, are we adding the dill relish?
I like adding the dill relish. You can add the dill relish to that.
So we're doing about 4 tablespoons, which is 1/4 cup. So if you know what 1/4 cup looks like, that's
why on earth are we using dill pickles, Rachel?
Because they taste good.
Because they taste good. So for one thing, I don't always keep dill relish, store-bought dill relish on hand, so you weren't reading my mind. But also, it's kind of, when you look at the ingredients for dill relish or sweet pickle relish, there's all kinds of stuff in there that you wouldn't have thought. It's more than just cucumbers and vinegar and salt.
Like on sweet relish especially, like they put corn syrup in it.
Corn syrup.
Lots of sugar.
There's a thickener that goes in. And
so it's just not as natural.
You know, we have a bottle of sweet relish right in our fridge that's totally store-bought. So we're not militant about it, but just trying to cut down on processed ingredients wherever we can.
And it takes a second to just get out your chopper or your knife if you don't have one and just chop it up.
But certainly, if you have dill relish, use it. It just has kind of become one of those things that we no longer need to buy at the store.
So, are we ready to chop up the green onions?
Oh yeah, that'd be great.
So green onions are a great ingredient, and I love them in this. But you have to chop them really small, or else you're gonna get a bite of sharp onion, and it can be a little spicy, and it's just not the flavor we're going for.
That's right.
So
not
with green onions, if you can see, there are little dried ends on it. So I don't have a cut glove over here, but could I have a cut glove? I'll just set these here. And then cut off the hairy ends over here. And just keeping my fingers away from it. Yay, we found one. Sometimes they're all in the laundry room.
Yes, we have to wash the cut gloves and replace them when they
wear out.
So
cut them really small.
Especially the white end. You can get a little bit more loose when you get to the green, but the white is much more strong in flavor. So you want to cut it really fine while you're doing the white part.
It's so hard to cut things small, but you can do it.
You can do it. It just takes a little extra patience and time, but it's worth it.
And then we're going to put bacon on top, and that's one of my favorite parts.
Yeah,
now you can cook your own bacon. We usually don't. We use real bacon crumbles from Sam's or Costco, actually, is where that's from.
Yes.
It's just we don't always have time to worry about that.
Right. And it's actually a lot more budget friendly to buy it like this. Because this bag I think is equivalent to, let's see, It's 1.25 pounds of cooked bacon, but by the time you cook down the bacon that you buy in the store for about $3 or $4 a pound, you end up with just a few ounces of actual bacon left. So it's a lot more cost effective and budget friendly to do this bacon crumbles, and it's easier. You just always have bacon ready to go into omelets or scrambled eggs or
pasta,
potato salad, or pasta when you make your,
it's the best,
like carbonara.
And even though carbonara has carb in the name, it's worth it.
It's worth it.
Now I have discovered that really if you use squash noodles or just put the sauce over squash, you can hardly tell that it's really not about pasta. The sauce. It's really about the sauce. So you can make carbonara without any carbs in it, if you so choose.
If you so choose. So we're working on our potatoes. I've got my assistant over there even helping.
Thank you.
With a few more. And here's another one.
Here's another one.
Thank you, sir. He's a great assistant. Sometimes if we're making this potato salad at the last minute, which
is usually
how it is.
Try to let it sit for a while.
If you can just get the dressing ready and sitting together, then it is at least melding in flavors. You could stir that in. Typically, you'll mix the onions. Those are perfect, honey.
Thank you.
You'll mix the onions and the pimentos and the relish and the bacon in with the potatoes, but since I don't have these quite cut up yet,
I know. I just like stirring.
Yeah, you're good. So it's really great. This potato salad is fantastic right away, but it's even better if you can make it in the morning and serve it that evening, or even if you make it the day before and have it ready and just waiting in your fridge and overnight. It's fantastic.
Just letting it sit for this 20 minutes or 10 or 15 while we do this, it's just it really helps. Like, I don't know if y'all eat soup a lot, but if you make soup and then have leftovers and eat it the next day, it's usually better the next day.
Almost always better. And Daddy likes to call it yesterday's soup.
Yeah, it makes me wish that we would just always make soup the day before and for the next night, and that would work. But
that's right. It's definitely an advantage of prep cooking and having leftovers, is that those flavors all come together so much better. So you can almost see some of these are looking a little bit like mashed potatoes. It is okay.
Is it because they were still a little warm?
They were still a little bit warm.
Yeah, it's fine.
And
not a problem.
We might have, I don't remember if these naturally released for a while. They might have cooked a little bit too long. Sometimes they're a little bit more firm.
But it's fine.
It's totally fine. It's all going to mix in and
it's still going to taste great.
Great. Okay, so if you want to start, let's add those potatoes. He's almost done. No pressure. And I'm going to go wash my gooey hands, and I'll be right back.
Oh, I forgot the pimentos.
Yeah, you can throw those in the dressing.
2 tablespoons of pimentos. So these are just diced pimentos, which I found out is Spanish for pepper, like bell pepper. So I don't know, is there a difference? I guess these are roasted, but I suppose you could put really small.
I don't think those are roasted.
Fresh. So could you do chopped fresh bell peppers if you didn't have any pimentos?
We should try that.
We should try it. Somebody try it and let us know how it turned out. And I think all that's left is the bacon. So our recipe calls for 1 pound of bacon that we've cooked and then crumbled. What? I don't know. Someone's saying something to me. I don't know what they're saying. Anyway, so we use the already cooked bacon. So I'm pretty sure 1 pound of raw bacon cooks into about 1 cup. So if you have this, just measure out a cup in these cool antique measuring spoons, or just dump it in. That's what it looks like if you need to know what a cup of bacon looks like. And so that's that. And are we ready to put the potatoes in?
I think we're ready to mix this right onto the potatoes. I'm going to wipe off your cutting board real quick. Get it kind of cleaned up so there's no
gooey on the bottom
stuff
of the
on the bottom of the bowl. Okay.
So when you're going to stir it all together, try to fold rather than mix, because that can break up your potatoes into smaller chunks and that can get it kind of mashed. Yes, please.
Scrape it out for you. It's great to cook together because then you have somebody to hold the bowl and somebody to scrape it out.
That happens a lot when you have something kind of thick like that you've been cooking and you need to get it out, and like you have to hold it up in order to get to it. It's just
and nice I really have been liking the things with handles, like the KitchenAid bowl. My new KitchenAid bowl has a handle.
As you can see, I am folding it together instead of going like
really
this.
Really gentle.
Yep, really gentle. To try and keep all those pieces the right size. And then just stir it until it's just all mixed together, and then you can put it in the fridge because these potatoes are still a little warm. It's really best cold. Probably 2 hours is what you.
2 hours would be a good minimum, but listen, if you're literally walking out the door to the party right now, it's going to be fine. Serve it, and
no one will know. Just don't tell them.
No one will know. Just don't tell them. And then the next day when you eat the leftovers, if there are any leftovers, they're no longer. Our family is pretty big. My brother-in-law's family is pretty big, and this is no longer enough.
Yeah.
This is 5 pounds of potatoes. So this is a huge batch of potato salad, but we're needing now a double. So if you're lucky enough to have a few leftovers tomorrow, then you'll be like, ooh, next time I'm going to make that the day before. So I'm going to give this another little gentle stir. See a few more in here.
Okay.
I wanted to tell you that on our website we have, if you're not in the mood for potato salad, but you want mashed potatoes, we have a recipe on there for mashed potatoes, which is really fabulous. And there we go. So usually what we do is at this point, cover this in plastic wrap or a lid if you have a bowl with a lid, stick it in the fridge, and then when you get it out to serve it later, give it a good stir, and then put it in whatever bowl you want to take to your party. So here we go. And I think we're ready now to show you the ribs and how to broil those.
So yes, in the Instant Pot, when you cook them in the Instant Pot, it's all steamy in there, so they don't really get crisp. So just sticking them in the broiler.
That's right. Like in the smoker, if you're making ribs in the smoker, of course they're going to be kind of crisp. But these, since you've just been cooking it in steam.
Yeah.
So anyway.
Yeah. So we have a little announcement. The cooking family is expanding, and
it's not just all the mashed potatoes and potato salad and ribs. We're having another baby, so we're really excited.
We are so excited. I could not believe it. We're so excited.
Yeah, we're very
only 2
excited,
more weeks
very
till we find out what it is.
Yes, so I'm 18 weeks.
19 on Saturday.
Okay, so we got to find out if it's a boy or a girl in a couple weeks, so we're very excited about that. Right now we have 5 girls and 2 boys, so everyone's rooting for boy,
with both,
but we will be happy with either one. So, and overjoyed to be carrying another life, and we're just excited about adding another family member to our family. So we wanted to share that joy with you today, and I guess now we'll show you the ribs.
Okay.
Okay, so this is our pot of ribs that we just now put on.
These are
the potatoes.
Natural releasing for 15 minutes.
These have been naturally releasing for 15 minutes, and so that is the amount that you want to have. When you're cooking meat, you generally want to allow it to naturally release for 10 to 15 minutes if you can. At least just a few, because it allows the meat, the juices to kind of go back into the meat and not seize up and make it a little bit more tough.
Can I unplug this pot? So
yes, you can definitely unplug that.
Down from pressure. I did release it. You couldn't hear it because
there was hardly any pressure in it.
This is the beautiful Evo. It comes up to pressure faster. It comes down from pressure faster. It's quieter when you release it. It's my favorite one that we've had.
Favorite Instant Pot. And I guess I'm going to put this over here.
I think we had a broiler pan over here. Where did that go?
Yes, the broiler pan and a big pair of tongs would be great. Okay, so we're going to open this up.
Thank you.
So here are our yummy ribs that already cooked. They cooked for 23 minutes and on high pressure.
All that delicious rub stayed on there mostly.
It's gorgeous. Thank you. Okay, so I'm going to reach in here. Here's another good reason to have this trivet is because you have something that's not quite as hot to get a hold of, and you can lift this rack right out of here and transfer it over. I'm transferring this to a broiler pan. You can use any baking pan.
Oh, yes.
And if these don't fall apart too much. So this is the back side. I want to try and flip this over. These are actually pretty tasty, just like this. When we did our final cooking sampling yesterday, we tasted them at this stage. I'm so glad you brought those other tongs. Someone brought me a second pair of tongs, which I need right now. Okay. So I'm going to use both pairs of tongs and flip this rack over. And now we're going to use this blue silicone brush to just brush a little bit of barbecue sauce on here.
Found it.
Rachel found the barbecue sauce. Okay, so this is Sweet Baby Ray's.
Not our favorite.
It's not our favorite. Our favorite is Stubbs.
But I just went to look in the fridge, and there was
almost
this much
empty.
Stubbs. So
I think
we have a big gallon container of it, but it's in that other fridge.
Right.
So we're not gonna.
Yeah, we're just gonna use this. This will be the one. This more kid friendly because this is very sweet.
A little too sweet, honestly.
It's been amazing. We've, as a family, have kind of tried to wean ourselves off of so much sugar, and so now when we taste something like this, it's incredible how your taste buds get used to sugar and kind of
don't even notice how sweet it's
dead to the sugar until you cut back on it, and it's like, oh my word, this is so incredibly sweet.
The first ingredient in this is high fructose corn syrup.
So this is actually a violation of our
now in Stubbs,
of Rachel's cooking policy to even have this stuff on hand, but it is a good overall sweet barbecue sauce. If you like sweet,
and it's very sweet. So I just go light on it.
Yeah, just go light on it, and you use whatever your favorite barbecue sauce is.
Yep.
So we're just gonna kind of brush this on. This is a silicone brush. I'm a, what would you call?
I don't know.
My brain likes the natural fibers, and so we have a natural fiber basting brush like this.
The hairs come off.
The hairs come off
when you brush with it.
It doesn't go into the dishwasher. Using one of these silicone brushes is fantastic. I think we got these on Amazon.
And I mean, there's nothing nothing
there's
bad.
Not. It's great. Okay, so now we're going to put this in the broiler. I'm going to just place these dirty utensils down in the Instant Pot. And I'm going to take this over to the broiler. And I just want to remind you, when you're broiling food, don't walk away.
Yes, especially
Stay
if you have
right
a really
there.
Good broiler like ours.
Keep your eyes on it unless there's a serious emergency.
You will look at it.
Otherwise, you'll have an emergency.
Nothing
in your
will
oven.
happen, and you'll turn around and then look back, it's black.
It gets too brown in just a half a second. So we're going to put this in the broiler, and we've got our rack up pretty high, and can see our dirty oven. I figure no germs really grow in there. So we're going to use our oven light to watch it, because when you open it up, it stops cooking. So
how long does
keep
it
a sharp
take?
eye. This will just take a couple of minutes, especially because it's really close to the heating element. So we're just going to wait on this to broil. In fact, do you want to wait on that to broil?
Sure.
And I'll go back over here and we'll start plating up our potato salad. The hot pads are in here. And, okay, so we're going to, this weekend, we're having a fun celebration. My father-in-law has just turned 69 years old, and we're so excited to be celebrating another birthday with him. He's had some heart issues over the years, and every year that we get to spend with Pawpaw is a blessing from God. And so we're so thankful and excited. We're going to have a family get together on Labor Day, combined for his birthday. And so we're going to have potato salad and some, I guess we're having pork, pulled pork. Probably a similar rub to this. And so that is one of the things that inspired us to make this today. Okay, so here goes our yummy potato salad on the plate. It's looking so good. You can see the red pimentos, the yummy bacon in there. If you want to be really fancy and sprinkle some green onions, we didn't save any over, so there aren't any left. Oh, that's looking fantastic, Rachel. Rachel caught it.
Thank you.
Just at the perfect time. It's just ever so slightly caramelized. That barbecue sauce gets nice and caramelized.
Man, that looks amazing.
It does look so good.
I mean, you don't even have to tell anyone that you didn't actually smoke it.
That's right.
If you don't have a smoker or you don't have time, this is a pretty good substitute. Here's hot pad. Those Miriam.
Couple hot pads.
Miriam
So this would be a great, pretty easy recipe. Like if you're having company over after work, you could have made the potato salad the day before. The ribs only take a little bit of time, and so it's fantastic company or celebration meal. Okay, just gonna cut off a little section here. Try to cut between those bones. And then use these tongs to get to it. Okay, this looks so yummy. For a family, you might want for kids to cut a little bit of a smaller piece. You could even cut the individual ribs to serve it up and just let people take. I think that's what I'm going to do here.
Yeah.
And then Rachel and I can taste a little sample.
Favorite part of the video. Tasting time.
Tasting time. Serve it with any kind of extra barbecue sauce that you want to dip in. But these ribs, you can see they're nice and juicy. They're full of flavor already. So hopefully you won't need too much extra barbecue sauce there. Smells so good.
My mouth is watering.
Okay, well,
Here's
here's a fork, my dear.
Thank you.
I'm going to taste the potato salad first.
I'm gonna borrow this one.
Tom's Super Potato Salad. Very good. It'll be even better when it has sat overnight and it's nice and cold.
Those ribs are very tender.
Are they?
And nice and flavorful.
Did you use the big knife to cut the rib?
Yes.
Okay.
That we didn't have a steak knife over here.
Okay. Okay, I'm going to cut this. See, you can even cut it with your fork. It's tender enough. Thanks to the pressure of the pressure cooker, helping just tenderize this meat. And is it going to be hot?
It wasn't hot. It wasn't hot.
I'm going to just give it a little taste.
Okay. I'm going to get another little taste. This piece isn't really wanting to come off.
It is so tender. That is why I would really encourage you, if your budget allows, to go ahead and go for the baby back ribs. They seem to be a lot more tender than the spare ribs. It's very good. The crew's gonna have a sample too. Okay. Now that we've torn into this plate, I'm gonna finish chewing up my food. We're so glad that you've been here with us today. Thanks so much for joining us. We would love for you to go to our website, check out these recipes, and share them with your friends. You can also sign up on there for our free Instant Pot, Fearless Newbie Instant Pot mini course, which will show you how to get started in your Instant Pot, and share that with friends who have just gotten an Instant Pot or have still not taken it out of the box yet. It's maybe sitting on their shelf or under their bed or some closet somewhere. So share that with your friends and help them to get involved in the Instant Pot world and let it bless their life in their kitchen with their family. And we want you to remember that your family can cook and enjoy great meals together. Thanks so much for watching, and we'll see you next time.